After a disappointing second episode, the third episode in my opinion picked up the pace again. We saw Tasha take the stand in a mock trial, Tariq and Monet coming face to face, and now we're going to see them working together. Tasha made a new friend in prison, and what's going to happen going forward with her case? And I want to talk about Monet's control. I'm discussing everything what happened in episode 3 in this review and recap. Welcome to MovieBot, and let's talk about episode 3 Power Book 2 Ghost. So we're 3 episodes into the first season of Power Book 2 Ghost, and for those that are new to my channel, welcome to MovieBot. I'll leave the link to episodes 1 and 2's reviews and recaps down in the description for anyone who's not seen them, or if you've missed those videos, the links are in the description and in the comment section. If you haven't done so already, make sure you smash the subscribe button. But just before I go and talk about the review and recap, I'm going to be doing specific storylines and going into a lot more detail in the week. So if you want me to talk about something specific, then just let me know down in the comment section. I'll incorporate it into my videos and try and get your comments involved as much as possible as well. So make sure you leave me your thoughts and comments down below. But with that being said, this episode kicks off with Dru and Kane roaming the streets collecting money they're owed, and this dude here, Kane, is definitely going to be popping his ass next week in episode 4, because he for sure ain't going to have the money for them by Friday. We got to see more of Dru in this episode as well, and I'm going to come to his character in just a moment, because I've got a lot I want to say about him, Kane, Monet and Lorenzo. And this scene we saw in the teaser for episode 3 was because those GTG boys, they've been running their mouths on Instagram Live, flashing their cash, and they're about to bring some heat up onto Monet's business, and we know she's not going to like this for sure. And we saw this later on in the episode when she made the call to Lorenzo. He wanted Dru to take care of this because he even knows that Kane is a bit irrational when it comes to this sort of shit. And when this went down, I knew already that Dru isn't built for the streets because of his character description. We've been talking about Dru all week, and Kane even said to Monet that he only drew because Dru isn't built for this. And they're actually setting it up now because we're actually seeing that Dru may not be built for the streets. But to be honest, I don't agree with Kane. I think Dru is built for the streets. He just doesn't want to be there, I think. He'd rather be doing art. And we see this later on when Monet questions him who drew first and why Kane had to step in. Kane wouldn't have hesitated to pull the gun out and pull the trigger. And this is exactly what he did when he walked in. And it's exactly why they're being chased by the cop. I genuinely thought that Kane was going to pop his ass, but it was never going to go down that way. It's too early for him to go to prison, as well as bringing that sort of heat to Monet's house and her business. She would have been fuming. And when these GTG boys were flashing all over Instagram, you just know what's coming later on in the episode. Tariq is going to replace them working for Monet, and he's going to make Monet twice as more money than the GTG boys ever did. But I don't think this is the last of what we've seen from them. I'm sure they'll be back, because if Monet does cut ties with them, then they're not going to be happy. I'm sure this isn't the last of what we've seen of the GTG boys, that's for sure. And I just want to talk about Lorenzo for a minute because he's a real boss. The way he seems to control things from the inside, he's having Tasha watched. He's even telling Monet that she doesn't like the way she's running things on the outside, and she tells her that Diana needs to go to school. And with Lorenzo having Tasha watched, that ending scene with him calling Tasha, laying down the law, that must have given Tasha the chills, because on one hand, she's got Lorenzo and Monet who are going to have full control over her and Tariq, and then on the other hand, she's got her case that she's worried about. And speaking of Tasha, let's talk about her case next, because we see Davis Maclean, Tasha and Paula Materazzo, and Maclean tells her that she's been lying right from the beginning, and Paula even knows this. She wants him to drop this case. She even said it again later on in the episode. I think that's about what, 3 or maybe 4 times she said she wants Maclean to drop this case. But he knows this case is bigger than what it is. He tells Tasha it's not the truth that matters, it's what they can sell to a jury. And when Tasha asked Davis Maclean to put her on the stand, of course he wasn't going to put her on the stand, because he knows that she's lying through her teeth, and she can't convince a jury, because later on in the episode, we saw Tasha being brought in for a mock trial, and I'm not going to lie to you guys, I love this scene because it reminded me of Suits. They always had trials and mock trials, and for those of you who have watched Suits will know what I'm talking about. But anyway, Tasha's giving her side of the story, and of course we know she's lying, and I don't know about you guys, but if I didn't know she was lying, she does sound sort of convincing when she's giving her version of events. So if you were sitting on the jury, you literally just heard her side of the story when she was telling the jury that Ghost made her do this and Ghost made her do that. Would it have made you think she was guilty or not guilty? Let me know down in the comment section what you would have thought. But of course, we know she's lying, and when she gets cross-examined, I'm not going to lie to you guys, I enjoyed this, mainly because I just can't stand Tasha. She thinks she's smarter than what she is, and there's no way she can convince a jury, and Tameika put her right in her place when she's questioning her about Terry Silver, what her role was in the organization. And the one which really got her was when Tameika basically said if she wasn't the boss, then why did she give the order for Tommy to kill Ghost? Well, to be honest with you, she didn't handle the whole cross-examination well. If she gets on that stand for real, then that verdict is only going to come back guilty, just like this mock trial, and she's getting the needle. All 12 jurors voted guilty, and Tasha as well as Davis Maclean knows that they are fucked. And this is why Davis Maclean even asked Tameika to join his team, and we know she's not going to do this. She is not touching this case again. I'd be really surprised if she joined Davis Maclean and Paula's team on this case. Really surprised, because she knows how deep this case goes and it's not all what it seems. I'm really surprised we never saw Cooper Saxe in this episode as well. I really thought we'd see round 2 of Cooper Saxe versus Davis Maclean. So surprised he wasn't in this episode, but I'm sure we'll be seeing him again next week, that's for sure. And I'm wondering whether we'll see that scene with Rashad Tate and Steve or not next week as well. But anyway, if Tasha does take the stand, she is finished. I don't think she'll be able to convince a jury at all. And we saw a lot of control from Monet in this episode with Diana, Kane, Dru, Tariq, Zeke, the whole lot of them. And I just want to talk about the way Monet just controls everyone, has everyone doing specific jobs she thinks they're good for, and this is how she keeps her business and people in line, having them do certain jobs for her. And Monet's words, we all play our positions. She tells Diana that Dru can't handle the GTG boys by himself, and she's right, because he's not exactly built for the streets, and she knows this. Lorenzo doesn't. Diana's asking Monet why she can't go off to college and play ball, and she even went to Lorenzo to try and convince Monet, but Monet saw right through this. And this is what I mean about Monet implementing control over Diana. She can't outsmart her mother, and she strikes fear into these kids when she walks in. We didn't see this once, but we saw this twice, right at the beginning of the episode when she asked them what the fuck is going on, what's happening with the GTG boys, and then later on when she was questioning Dru and Kane about what happened with the GTG boys. And just a quick one while we're here, when Monet was questioning Dru and Kane, notice what Dru is holding here. His art book and pencil. They keep foreshadowing this, and we've been speaking about this all week, and I think we're going to see Dru and his love for art in the next few episodes, I think, especially now that Monet is going to be working with Tariq. Let's talk about Tariq and Monet next. And I thought we'd finally see Tariq and Monet coming face to face in this episode, and it happened. Tariq reached out to Zeke to set up a meeting up with Monet, and this is what I was waiting all episode for this meet. Tariq asked Monet how long does it take her to make this sort of money. He only made this in a couple of hours on campus, and he tells Monet that if she works with him, nobody will even know her name. Tariq's talking Monet's language. He even tells her that she knows the risks of running the streets, but there's always going to be a price to pay. She agrees to work with him, but knowing how to keep him in line, and this is the control that I was talking about. Monet likes to have on everyone that she has under her wing. Monet loves having this control, and she does this by having Lorenzo make the call to Tasha, saying they'll have Tariq killed if they don't do what they say. And Monet agrees to work with Tariq on one condition, that he doesn't get Zeke involved, and he's got to move out, and this is where Brayden comes in. So far in these 3 episodes, Brayden's played a bit part role in book 2, but I think his role is going to be ramped up pretty much quick now that he's going to be working with Tariq, and I love Brayden's character. I don't know about you guys, but when he comes on screen, it's like a breath of fresh air. I said right at the beginning, just before the season started, that Brayden's character was the one to look out for, and the Brayden we see now and the Brayden we see towards the end of the series, they're going to be 2 completely different people. I'm sure sooner or later we'll see him getting his first kill. I want to see how he handles himself when he has to pull the trigger, and I think he'll do it protecting Tariq. Let's see. But let me know what you guys made of this episode. I think it was a better episode than the second, that's for sure. But let me know what your thoughts are down below on episode 3. Let me know what you think about Tariq, Monet working together, Brayden coming into play now, so I'm sure we'll be seeing him a lot more. Let me know what your thoughts are down below. I'll be breaking down different storylines in the week, going into a lot more detail into specific storylines. So if you want me to talk about a specific thing, then drop me a comment down below and let me know, and I'll incorporate this into my videos. If you haven't done so already, make sure you're subscribed and you have that notification bell turned on as well so you don't miss any of those videos. I'll be back with my teaser breakdown for episode 4 next. Thank you guys for watching. I'll see you next time.